Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this YouTube exclusive brought to you by the new Force Order
For life.
podcast. We're a Star Wars podcast, and what we do is we talk about something called, you guessed it, Star Wars. I am one third of your hosts. I am a pro wrestler. I am a professional. But most importantly, I am the Greek god Papadon, aka GGP, your boy. Alongside with me, I have a witty, oh so pretty, kung fu grip having, finally looking in the mic because he's not playing with Hank McCoy's Shaft medical droid, and a vindictive,
Aw.
oh baby Yoda, a
So
vindictive, yeah, a vindictive who says cute, I don't know, malicious, gets upstaged by his daughter every episode, Sith Lord. Boys, introduce yourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I barricaded my daughter in her room. I hope it holds, but I am the Dark Lord of the podcast, the Sith Ari, the Rampaging Reverend Kiss, the Butcher, your boy Spiro, aka Darth Spiridon.
And I am smarter than 21B, more technical than FX7, the god of stealing thunder, and the guy who's just about to call Child Protective Services to unbarricade Reedy to get her out of there. Dr. Destroyo, Alex Arroyo.
Very nice. So,
Oh, man.
this isn't the original show, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we call MandoMania. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, the best car is running wild, brother. What you gonna do? Well, MandoMania is running wild on you. What we do is we talk about the show Mandalorian on Disney Plus. Season 1 is gone. You guys want to follow our past episodes that delved into season 1? Be our guest. Be our guest. I don't know the rest of the song. Anyway, but what we're going to talk about tonight is episode 2 of Gallery, Disney Plus Gallery, The Mandalorian. I believe the episode is titled Legacy, correct?
Legacy, yes.
That's one of my favorite Eminem songs too. Legacy, great song. What'd you guys think? In one word, and only one word, Doc.
Cool.
Inspiring.
Impressive. So, first episode was called Directors. It was basically the director's take on the genre, on the world that we know as Star Wars, how they're big fans of everything, and how they approached the episodes in the season. This is more about, I would say, the legacy and the impact of Star Wars in general. Or am I too off the beaten path here?
Yo, you're correct.
No, yes, that is definitely a part of it, yes.
All right. Well, they had a little roundtable discussion with two groups of people. The first group had people from ILM and Lucasfilm, obviously. I forgot the names. One was named Rich, one was named John, one was named Hal,
Shem,
and we had Kathleen Kennedy alongside Johnny Fabs and Dave Filoni. So, all that being said, I had one interesting thing that I noticed. Now, I don't want to start rumors and speculations and innuendos, but when they dropped everyone's name, they had their title underneath their name. So, Filoni, you had executive producer / director. Johnny Fabs, you had executive producer. The guy, John whatever, was whatever his title at Lucasfilm is. I forgot. Same thing with the other two guys. Special effects this, whatever. The funny thing is, when Kathleen Kennedy's name came on, it just said executive producer. It didn't say head of Lucasfilm. So I don't know, just because it was pertaining to the Mandalorian show, or maybe, just maybe, a little kayfabe was broken, if you will.
You
I
know
don't know.
what, man? Thank God for fucking smart TVs because I was able to zoom in. And if you guys read the fine print, it says out the fucking door. At least that's what I saw. I don't know.
Oh, I love it. That's fantastic.
You guys think I'm
Yeah.
too far off with that, or what?
Nah.
I don't know. Would they drop that info like that on kind of like secretively that she's out? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's probably just relating to the Mandalorian specifically.
You know what? At the end of the day, that's probably all it is. But at the same time, I think, man, it's like, again, when we've brought up George Lucas's contract, and she she seems to be fairly, one of what do you call it? Pretty much what I'm saying is she was supposed to be protected, and maybe they're trying to make her whole deal just play out smoothly, and but anyways, man, what I noticed was this: everybody there seems to have this really fucking love, this natural love for fucking Star Wars, their fucking excitement. And they bring up about conversations that they had at meetings, and everybody kept on going back. So what about Star Wars? Are we doing any more Star Wars? Because people really wanted to tell these damn stories. Out of all the people there, I didn't get that from Kathleen Kennedy. And Kathleen Kennedy's been with George forever. But, to me, I didn't see that same love for Star Wars, that same passion.
Yeah.
That's because your judgment is clouded.
It could be.
Search your feelings. Stop. You know it to be true. Stop
your
Listen,
feelings,
with,
Malaka.
stop searching with the hate. Put away the hate.
Impossible.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
don't
kidding,
know.
dude. I'm busting your chops. Hey, look, man. She's corporate to the teeth. What are you gonna do? She's a corporate person. I don't think she's a big fan. I'm not saying she's not a fan of Star Wars, but at the same time, she was handpicked by George Lucas. Maybe she promised that she was gonna do what he wanted, and she got the position that way. And when push came to shove, she sided with Disney, and the rest is history. They're all white slavers, according to George Lucas. But you know what?
Possible.
That's all alleged. That doesn't
She's
matter.
a fan of the money.
Who isn't?
Of course. But
I mean, Doc would sell us out for a heartbeat, dude. He's done it before. Fucking Henry Hill of the crew.
Henry.
Listen.
First of all, I'd like to make an observation that it looked like it was a weekend at Kathleen's over there when she was so fucking looked like she was a corpse sitting up there. How old is that broad? 1,000? Holy shit! I thought she was a clone of the fucking emperor at one point.
In 900 years,
God.
you are.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap.
Oh man.
Is she a big fan of Star Wars? Is it possible to make movies and to do what she does without being a fan?
She could be a fan of movies, but it doesn't matter. This isn't the Kathleen Kennedy debate. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
True.
You had some good points on the talk, Doc. What did you want to talk about that pertains to this episode?
So
and
in general,
look into the camera.
In general, the legacy.
So Kathleen Kennedy.
Remember, this is YouTube.
The legacy of Star Wars. It's been around for 43 years now. And I think personally it's going to be around for a hell of a lot longer, despite the fact that Disney has it right now. And, the failings, air quotes, about Star Wars. Because it's rich. It's filled with amazing stories that have been told and that can be told in the future. And it speaks to people, they talked a little bit about this during the show, especially around the fact that when you watch it as a child, you get a certain thing from it. And then when you watch it as an adult, you get a certain other thing from it. And I think that's what keeps fans coming back to Star Wars year after year after year, decade after decade, and what makes guys like us pass it down to our kids, who hopefully will pass it down to their kids. Because it's at its core, it's a great story. And it has all the elements that you need to have a great story, because it was built like that. So, it followed that Greek mythology that you guys love to talk about. So I think its legacy, despite the blemishes that have popped up here and there, talking about the prequels, we've seen the prequels become a renaissance of people enjoying them and liking them and appreciating them more. And I think we said it before the show, on the main show, that it's the same thing is going to happen with the sequels. But its legacy will last longer than you, longer than I, longer than Ed, than anyone, longer than George. And what else do you want to do in this world than put something on there that has a long-lasting impact far longer than you're gone? So I think George, succeeded with that, and that legacy is going to be part of history forever.
Agreed.
Fuck you, Doc. How are we gonna follow that fucking promo? You piece of shit.
Hey,
That's it, folks.
so
That's it. That's it.
You can
That's
find
it.
me on Instagram.
All right, hold on. I want to talk about something else. So they talked about legacy, and one of the things that you guys were talking about previously was how each of the players in the very beginning of the episode, which was Kathleen Kennedy and the guys from ILM, how they talked about their involvement and how they got involved with Star Wars. Now, the one guy was like, I watched Star Wars, and that's the reason why I did what I did and became who I became, and I wanted to follow that path. And like Spiro said, they kept asking George at corporate meetings, when are we going to do Star Wars? And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe. And then it became more, looked like he was becoming more.
What if George said it as Watto?
Yeah, we're going to do Star Wars. Maybe sometime. No, I don't know. Mind tricks don't work on me.
What if he did it as Big 4-2?
Hey, yes, Star Wars. My master, George Lucas, said that the Star Wars is coming maybe soon, maybe not soon. I don't know. It depends how much money we need for the college.
What about Chic, man? Cheeky baby.
The following announcement has been paid for by the new Force Order.
Hey, brothers.
Oh, what up, man?
I like the shirts.
I like your shirt.
I like my shirt too.
You like my shirt?
Yo, let them know where they can get these.
Turn around. Oh. You can get them at the official New Force Order on Facebook, at NFO Podcast at Twitter, at New Force Order on the gram of Insta, and you can check us out on www.newforceorder.com or send an email to newforceorder@yahoo.com.
We're PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, whatever ready.
Imperial credits are no good here. Buy the shirt. Buy the shirt. Buy the shirt.
He's about to take a sip of a beer.
Oh God. Oh man.
Mr. Lucas. Sorry.
Wanna go ahead? Go ahead.
No, I'm good. That sounds like Watto, so it's fine. I was practicing my Sheik today. I was like, it still sounds like Watto. It doesn't matter.
Oh, shit.
The Star Wars, the Star Trek is the jabroni. Mr. Lucas, he make a new Star Wars because he the champion. The real Star Wars is the Force. The Force is with you. And the Veda, poor jabroni Veda. I am the real dark side champion. The Sheik, the Iran #1, Russia #1, Tatooine, Hatui.
That works. So
There it is.
all these guys were talking about their excitement when they found out that they were going to work on Star Wars. It's like what brought them to the dance is now back, and they're working on it. So I wanted to ask you guys a specific question about this episode to kind of spin it a little bit. Spiro as the director, Papadon as the artist, and me as the writer. How would each one of us
Wait, you
individually
write?
feel? I write all the time.
What a team,
Do you
bro.
roll the
Oh,
time out? What do you write? Greeting
I
cards?
write. Yes, I write greeting cards. I write dirty
Haikus?
limericks. Dirty limericks.
Limericks.
Let me hear Dirty Limerick.
There once was a man from Coruscant who fell asleep with a finger in his butt to Sant. So
Stick to your Sheik impression, please.
So I was going to ask you guys.
Okay. Oh, real quick. Sorry to cut you off.
Yes.
As I told you,
Keep going.
I'm sorry. As I told you, I was watching Rebels. I introduced my son to Rebels tonight. Right? We saw the first 3 episodes. And episode number 2, when Ezra got left behind and Agent Callus had him prisoner, and they went back to go save him. And they said that they got a Wookiee slave, and they had Zeb as a Wookiee. And and the 2 guards go, when they open the door and they see it's whatever his species is called, they go, "That's not a Wookiee." And he looks at him and goes, like a Wookiee. I thought of Sphero right away. And I lost it.
Yes. I did think of the same thing when I watched that episode.
All right, go on.
Anyway, so let's say you open your email and they say, Mr. Anatopoulos, we've seen your work. We'd like you to come in and direct an episode of The Mandalorian, of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, of whatever. Mr. Papadibatapatalapalapalapakos. We've seen your artwork on your merch table. We think that we want to go in that direction to do a new series, a new show, and we'd like you to do some storyboards for us for this new Star Wars show. How would you guys feel? Because I want to put each of us in that position, of the JJ position, of your boy Ryan Johnson position, of Deborah Chow, of Taika.
Fujiwara
armbar. What goes through your head if you see that email and hear those words?
Wow, man! I'll tell you, man. As a fan, I'd be full of so many fucking emotions. It would be like the greatest day of my life professionally, but at the same time, I would be shitting bricks, bro. Because it's like here you have a chance to do something you have so much love for, and work on something that you love and have this passion for. And of course, you want to do the best you can. You want to do it right, and it becomes this big like holy shit, I cannot fuck this up, And you're not gonna please all the fans, but just knowing that you could possibly taint something you love so much, man, it's fucking daunting, bro. But dude, I would do it.
First thing I would look at is how much they're paying me. That's the first and foremost thing.
What a worker.
Yes, and yes. Secondly, I would be ecstatic and excited out the wazoo to be part of anything related to Star Wars. I would love to direct. I would love to write and obviously draw either a film or story or anything pertaining to the canon. And I would be thrilled beyond belief, way beyond belief. You know what I'm saying? So if I had the opportunity, I would grab the bulls by the horns and I would do the best that I could possibly do and win them over, because, I don't care who you are. If you have passion in your heart and you have some sort of talent, that passion will help you ride any obstacle to make you overcome it and shine. And that's exactly what would happen. People would be like, God damn, this fucking guy. Look at this guy over here. He fell off the back of a fucking meat truck and he's fucking writing episode 10, 11, and 12. And he did a good fucking job.
Yeah, so I'm with both of you guys. I would shit my pants because of this prospect of making something that people are going to criticize so much and having that weight kind of drop on you. So I think, we should look at the guys who did the directing and the writing for The Mandalorian in that light, is that, they were on the backs of The Last Jedi, where we knew it was, it wasn't well received by the fans. I liked it. I know Pop liked it. And now they have this property that everybody is expecting to be fucking amazing. And they have all that pressure on their fucking back, and they still fucking hit home run at the bottom of the ninth, which speaks to the people who are involved in that show to take that legacy and make it better. Like a Filoni, like a Favreau, like the Fujiwara
Listen,
armbar.
that promo only cut at the end of the show. All right, we explained how Star Wars is about family, and how the whole arc of the first battle between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Maul has so much significance that George made it like that on purpose, because it's the Duel of the Fates was the name of the track, but it was the Duel of the Fate for Anakin's soul or his life. Puts things in totally different perspective, because I never thought of it like that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And it is about family, and the whole thing about him, the whole arc from 1 to 6. I kind of got the gist that 7, 8, 9 doesn't pertain to his liking, I guess. I don't know. That's just me trying to make an educated guess, because 7, 8, 9, you know what I mean? Like
it wasn't George. That's the reason why. And I'm sure George didn't like him so much.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. I love 7, 8, 9, but and to those out there, who say Disney killed Star Wars, you're full of shit, because they've been producing nothing but good Star Wars. Rebels, Clone Wars, Mandalorian, 7, 8, 9 have all been fucking fantastic in my opinion. Again, my opinion. They haven't produced anything bad, and in my opinion, George has produced everything that's good. You know what I'm saying? 1 through 6, they're all good movies. Do they have their flaws? Yeah, but so does 7, 8, 9. So does Mandalorian. So does everything. Nothing's perfect. But that speech at the end by Filoni, that promo he cut, man, it was fantastic. There's no way anybody could have followed. It was like Doc's opening monologue. Now the show's just going downhill.
You know what, man? I agree with you. And that final monologue by him, like you said, it's like, I was like, holy fuck, man, this motherfucker gets it, But the good news is that he's not alone, man. He's surrounded by other people who do get it. And if you feel that one movie that some people either loved or fucking hated the shit out of it, including myself, if that one movie tainted Star Wars for the rest of your life, then fuck you, man. Get the fuck out of here. That since then there's been so much great stuff, But to go back to the round table, man, it's like these 2 episodes, it's like, I just, it makes you feel good inside knowing that Star Wars, and this has nothing to do with fucking Disney and all that shit, okay? Think about the people behind the fucking cameras, the people writing, the people on the computers adding special effects and all this shit, right? It's in good hands, man. It's in great hands. And seeing these guys talk, and they talk about Star Wars with such love and passion, it actually motivates me and inspires me to go out and do shit, man. So, yeah, man.
What made me pop? I mean, the thing was called Legacy, right? The whole fucking episode. And people are going to say, oh, the legacy is Star Wars. It was more George Lucas as well. The legacy of George Lucas, because not only did he impact this planet by introducing Star Wars to the world, which affected a lot of people's lives. 3 people right here, just the tip of the iceberg. But he changed the course of films, the filming industry, with everything he's done. With the first series of movies, the first trilogy, changed the way everything was done with filming, miniatures, effects, to the point where even the first digital character, with the prequels, the industrial light and sound, Lucas sound, everything, special effects, whatever it was, THX or whatever it was, or everything that Lucas did from his studio impacted the movie industry. So his legacy is impeccable. I mean, the guy had 126 patents on technology?
Yep.
How incredible is that?
That's insane, man.
I mean, you have your Quentin Tarantinos, you have your fucking Spielbergs, you have, your Robert Zemeckis and other guys out there who had an impact on making movies in one shape or another. but not too many people can say they have had an impact on the entire industry, on
Right.
different facets of the industry. You know what I mean?
Yep. When you change the game like that, as you need something and you just fucking make it, and you completely revolutionize the industry over and over and over again, it's like it's undeniable. And you're right. It's not. It wasn't just the Star Wars legacy in that. It's the Lucas legacy in that.
Doc, if you could relive one moment in the Star Wars, in Star Wars, and any film or anything that you saw for the first time, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thanks.
I know.
I wonder who wrote that. I wonder who wrote that question.
Spiro.
I was thinking about this because as you get further and further away from memories, that things start to kind of like you forget them. And
because you get old, you mean?
Yes, exactly. I distinctly remember sitting and watching Last Jedi and watching Luke walk out in the middle of Crate and standing there. And I was like, this motherfucker is really going to do what he said he wasn't going to do. He's going to stand there and fight off the First Order with his laser sword. And then once the shots got fired and the dust settled and he just brushes off his shoulders, I fucking popped like a little bitch. It was the best. I loved it. So I was thinking about what memories would you want to go back and relive, things that you were. One of them for me, for sure, is the first time I saw Episode 3, watching the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. We knew the outcome loosely. We knew what was going to happen, but we waited for this moment for over a decade, and finally we're seeing it happen. I was giddy. I don't remember it vividly, but I know I was giddy and excited coming in and saying to myself, this is going to be fucking the payoff. Right here is the payoff right here. So that was definitely one that I would go back and try to relive that moment and see myself in that and see my feeling in that situation. Pop.
There's so many moments to choose from.
That's why it's beautiful.
The one thing that sticks out for me, the one thing that will always stick out for me, is probably one of my oldest memories of Star Wars, and I will always relive this moment because it holds dear and near to my black heart. I was living in Jackson Heights at the time, and we were watching it on VHS, and it's the opening scene of New Hope, where they're about to land on the brigade, the frigate, and all the people line up, the rebel soldiers. They all get on their knees, in position to fight off the incoming Empire. The kitchen where the TV was at, right? The wall had two shelves. Like if this was the opening for the kitchen that led into the dining room, there was two half walls, right? And then it was like a little shelf on each side. So my brother would go on one side, I'd go on the other. We'd hide behind, and we'd make believe we were rebel soldiers, and we were shooting the fucking stormtroopers coming in the frigate right before Darth Vader decides to step in and show everybody who he is. So that memory right there will always live in my heart, and I will always relive that scene. As kids, my brother Andrew and I just keep doing that over and over and over again every time the movie played. So it's nothing major, but to me, that's one of my fondest memories.
That's enormous, exactly. Spiro?
I'll tell you, man. It's hard to choose, but the one scene that fucking comes to my mind a lot, man, and it came back when I watched Clone Wars, was in Rogue One, the fucking end, when Darth Vader just ripped through that fucking hallway, man, and then he just stands there by that tailgate, or that I'm thinking tailgate because I'm thinking about a fucking plane and shit, but and he's standing there and he sees the fucking pod leaving and shit, and his cape there flowing and shit. That was fucking great. But I want to talk about that scene that you actually spoke about, the one with Luke going to Crate and shit. Man, I would have loved to have seen Luke there in the flesh and blood, actually display some sick badassery and start taking everybody out, just showing people how fucking powerful this fucking guy is, and then fall at the hands of the younger, stronger guy in battle. You know what I'm saying? That I think would have been the send off that Luke should have got.
I disagree 100%.
No, why?
All right.
He should have done. He should have done the fucking
Done the
honors
job.
on the way
No.
out.
Well, listen.
Properly.
This is what should have happened, in my opinion. As soon as they played the hologram of Princess Leia from Episode 4, his fucking ass should have got on the ship with them and should have went back and helped out.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
That would have been.
Or
Yeah.
Or this is what should have happened. They should have done it. And again, not saying that I can write a better film or direct a better film than Rian Johnson, but
Yeah, you could.
If he started training her and they do the fucking hand touch scene and tells her to get the hell off the island, they leave because he won't turn. He won't go to help turn Kylo Ren, and R2 stays back, right? And then he's sitting there, R2, can you believe the audacity of this chick? I'm trying to show her how to be a Jedi, whatever. And she's going to go and flirt with freaking Kylo Ren. And then he plays the message there. And then he realized the errors of his ways. And then he raises the ship. And then him and R2 get in the ship. And they fly and they go to Crate, right? And when they go to Crate, they save Rose Tico and what's his name? Boyega. Right about when he's about to kill himself, instead of her hitting him like a yellow taxi in the city, he shoots the cannon with his X-Wing. It blows up. Boom. Right? And then they shoot him down. And then him and what's his name have a big fucking saber duel. You know what I mean? And then they bounce. Right? That'd be okay. People would get everything they wanted to get. He wouldn't be out of character. He would see the errors in his ways. He'd come and save the day. There'd be a little bit of a lightsaber duel with powerful Luke Skywalker and powerful Kylo Ren. Something happens. He doesn't die. He dies in 9. Whatever. Or they could have just did what they did and not kill him off in 8 and let him die in 9 after he comes back. You know what I mean? To help out the rebellion. But they didn't. But the reason why I disagree with your ending is because Luke Skywalker ended up being, and he said in the film, how they in the episode, Filoni says how everyone that Luke Skywalker never did anything wrong. Granted, he touched the dark side here and there a little bit, and then realized his error when he looked at his father's hand and realized that he was going down the same path with his mechanical hand. And threw away the lightsaber, right?
Yep.
And right then and there, that moment, that's what made Vader decide being the father he never had and saving his son as opposed to all the power in the universe and turning on the Emperor. Because at the end of 8, Luke realized his error of his ways and did exactly what a Jedi is supposed to do. Never fight. Overcome violence with non-violence, the most purest Jedi in the world. And he did it from halfway across the galaxy without even lifting a finger. They didn't cross sabers, they didn't touch sabers. He dodged everything. He tried to reason with them. It didn't work. He was buying time for them to escape. Everybody left, and he did the most unselfish thing possible. He realized once igniting his saber against his nephew was the biggest mistake of his life. He wasn't going to ignite and fight and try to battle his nephew again. So to me, if anybody was supposed to go out like a real Jedi as Luke Skywalker is, he went out the right way. I just think they should have done it in 9 instead of 8. But that's just me. People waited 40 years to see Luke. That's the problem.
That
And when
is
you-
the
and-
problem.
And the problem is, you wait 40 years to see Luke Skywalker, and you don't see him the way you wanted to see him, or you didn't even get a chance to get a taste of how powerful he is, and all you got was Hermit Luke, and no way for him to come back from being Hermit Luke to be the optimistic Luke Skywalker, the hero. You don't get that, and then you take him away from us because he dies. Of course, people are going to get upset. What do you think was going to happen?
Yeah, but does that make for a better film, though? At the end of the day, I mean, everything you say is awesome. I agree with the whole. He did what a true Jedi should have done, but think about this. Think about how Han Solo sacrificed himself. Luke could have done the same thing, and Kylo could have had two fucking deaths, two family deaths in his hands to really eat away at his heart.
I understand that, but let's look. In wrestling, when we have a match and the heel, the bad guy, outsmarts the babyface once, then the babyface is worthless, right? Because the babyface, which is the good guy, should never get outdone, out wrestled, outsmarted by the heel, ever, right? That's why the heel cheats to win or cheats to get on top. If he kills his father because he stabbed him, and then does the same thing to Luke, then it makes the good guys look stupid because they fell for the same trick twice. So you can't really do the same thing twice. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's not the same person, it's the same group. You know, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Whatever that saying is, or maybe the other. It's the opposite way around, right? I feel like George Bush now, but you know what I'm saying? Like him having his father.
Wait a minute. Han. I mean, Han went there to try to turn his son, and he died for it. Luke knew he couldn't turn him, but he should have still faced him, knowing that he was probably their best chance. So, okay, he didn't, he did what a fucking real Jedi is supposed to do, but is it the fucking right choice? Because at the end of the day, he was their best shot at beating them, at, taking down Kylo.
I think I don't know.
I think
maybe at that point he was.
Yeah, exactly. At that point, I mean, it would have been cool if they all watch from afar as he gets struck down, and the morale just drops to the fucking hell and shit. Then the good guys have fucking to really climb up from fucking really deep and shit, which then makes the victory at the end of 9 a lot sweeter. No?
Yeah, I could see your point, and you have some validity behind it. I just think the whole would be too deep. Not necessarily too deep for the good guys to get out of, because they had 12 people left, and they came back and beat an entire fucking First Order and Final Order. I think the him killing his father weighed on him so much. He couldn't shoot his mother and destroy her. That's why the other two guys in the TIE fighter did it, right? If he killed his uncle after everything that happened and slayed him in front of his mother's eyes, his mother's brother, there is no way they could do a redemption arc and bring him back. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He hated him too.
He hated a little too much.
So there's no way they could have redeemed him. Now, was that always in the cards? Maybe. But again, that's the problem with the sequel trilogy. The movies don't talk to each other like the first 6. You know what I'm saying? There's no game plan. So it is what it is. Hopefully Taika, with this new movie, does better. Who knows what the new movie is? Maybe it's Solo 2. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
I doubt it's going to be Solo 2.
I doubt it too.
His own vehicle to kind of.
Well, what's he going to do?
Who the fuck
High
knows?
Republic?
Who knows? We'll find out. Anyway, we've taken a very large tangent off this this subject, which I love, by the way. Don't get me wrong.
We make you think, people. Okay, I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back by saying this. Is it me, or with these two episodes there's like one moment that's like fuck you, Ryan Johnson, because like David Filoni made sure to really point out, Star Wars is not mine, to do whatever I want with it. It's not mine.
Yep.
It's George's story. We just try to tell George's realize his vision and tell his story. Blah blah blah. I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong there? You guys think that he's not throwing some shade? Is he throwing shade?
There may be a little bit of a shade over there. I agree.
I could see it coming.
Based on perception. I didn't feel that way because I like episode 8. You hate episode 8, so
man. Listen,
you know what
bro,
I'm saying?
I could be biased, but I won't. I'll do my best to be objective.
Well, listen, here's the issue.
But,
no. I see your point though, because I was just joking about the biasness. Because not Lucas.
But I am.
No, but it's not. Look, we're indoctrinated for what comes out news-wise, either from storyboard people, from Lucasfilm, from StarWars.com, from websites, from the actual movies themselves, from the actors. And when Hamill comes out and says he's against the way Ryan Johnson treated his character, Luke Skywalker would never be this way. It's totally against everything he believes in. And then he says that Ryan Johnson isn't making a film for the fans. He's making the film that he wants to see, meaning Ryan wants to see. Those are words and messages coming out from the horse's mouth that gets instilled in our brains because we're super nerds about all this, to that when we hear the opposite statement, automatically they're connected. You know what I mean? So it could be a shot at Ryan Johnson. Last episode, when Bryce Dallas Howard said what she said, she said, we're making good stories, not our stories. I took it like a shot, but not a direct shot at Ryan Johnson, but just basically saying, hey, you made a great film, but not a great Star Wars film. I like certain aspects of the movie that would subvert people's expectations, but there's certain things I wish he didn't do, like kill off Luke, But again, the past is the past. It is what it is. Who knows?
So it's safe to say we won't be seeing Ryan Johnson directing any episodes of The Mandalorian, right?
Probably not.
No.
Very, very doubtful.
Whoever Ryan, Johnny Favs and Filoni want, they will get. So who knows? Are they fans of his directorial debut? They won't say. Why give these internet trolls any ammunition?
Yeah, you don't got to speak against the family,
Exactly.
Henry.
Put it this way. JJ will never come out and say anything bad about Ryan Johnson. All right? Never. It's not the professional thing to do. But
JJ is a professional.
And then his best friend, who was in the film as Snap Wexley, I forgot the actor's name, Greg Gunberg, I think it is, right? Says that JJ never said anything. But then you have Simon Pegg saying that he fucking took everything JJ set up and destroyed it. And then you have the editors from episode 9 say the same thing, but that's after the backlash of 9 because of the editing process, saying the film felt weird with its pacing and its editing cuts. So they were following directions from Disney to shorten the film up, to get it more viewings per screen, to make more money and keep it within a certain restriction of box length, right? So the blame kind of falls on them because of these division of fandoms for episode 9, which was supposed to heal everything. So now what do? They pass shade on the person who started this whole problem. So it's like being in the locker room of wrestling. I didn't go over on time. Referee didn't give me a cue. The referee says no, I gave him the cue. You know what I mean? Or I didn't get the cue from the guy in the back. So it's a he said she said game. But at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? It's over. Let's just move on. You know, let's talk about the Mandalorian.
Speaking of over, no, sorry, it's the wrong.
No, wrong. So, anything else?
It feels like a Tuesday.
Yeah, right. Anything else you guys want to add about the episode?
Man.
So there was one thing that Taika had said. He said that when he went in to see Empire Strikes Back, that he was like, "This is not the movie that we saw previously. This is dark. This is very different than that movie that we saw before this," which I think is I'm not gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Thank you. Is exactly the similar feelings that people had gotten after they saw The Last Jedi. So, you know, those themes are still there, and that poetry that is Star Wars exists. And I think in 10 years, Spiro is really going to enjoy The Last Jedi when he watches it again.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
You're probably right.
If I watched that other guy's cut, what's his name again?
Isaac Ortega?
Ivan Ortega.
Yeah, him. Yeah, his cut.
Which was a better cut. But look, he even said it too. He said when he was younger, he didn't really get the Dagobah training scene. But now he watches it and he gets it. Yep. Even the part where Luke can't lift the X-Wing, and then he goes, little fucking green guy Yoda does it and brings it across the fucking swamp, and he goes, I don't believe it. And then Yoda goes, that is why you failed. This is why you failed. Hey, this is why you failed, man. Right? And he goes, that scene holds so much. It means so much on so many levels for him now because he gets it. It's a different time in his life. He gets to see it from a different point of view. Like when I first saw the episode 1 and the prequels, I hated episode 1. I hated episode 2. And I hated episode 1 because I said to myself in the theater, this is exactly like episode 4. Beat by beat. 2 fucking Jedis. One of them dies at the end. There's a celebration at the end for winning, for blowing up a round object by a Skywalker. I go, it's the same fucking movie. And instead of a Wookiee, we get a fucking a fucking lizard-looking dude. We get a princess, right? We get a fucking Sith Lord. It's the same movie. But then I hear Lucas go out and say, hey, it's supposed to be the same movie. It's like poetry. It rhymes. It's history repeating itself. Then I watch it with that, pair of glasses on. And then I go, oh, okay. I like it now. I don't love it because of certain things.
But it makes sense.
But it makes sense. Episode 2, I think, is better than episode 1. Minus, the only problem with episode 2 for me is just the fucking love scenes with fucking Anakin and Padme. Otherwise, I thought the film was a lot.
You wanted more doggy style, or what happened?
A little bit, yeah. A little Kama Sutra action would have been nice, especially with Padme.
Oh, it's my girl.
I know, but you know what I'm saying. So episode 3, I always loved, and now I love it even more. To the point, I saw a fucking video I shared with you guys today that someone posted. I forgot what it was called. I think it was called Suffering or something like that. And it was a Vader Anakin clip film, like 7 minutes long.
Yep.
And that part where he goes, where they're on Mustafar, and he goes, I loved you were my brother, Anakin. And I hate you. I started crying, man, again. Like a bitch. It gets me every time. That and the Han Solo scenes from the fucking sequel trilogy gets me every time, dude. Every time. Anyhow. So, how about that Star Trek, huh?
Amazing.
I mean,
yeah, man.
Is there a scene that you saw when you were younger and now you watch it, you like it, you get it now?
Of course.
Like?
like well,
You know, you
definitely
give
that
Respiro on
scene.
the spot.
Yeah. Definitely that scene. Like back then, I saw this fucking guys. There's a snake around. Then I actually thought that Darth Vader landed on Dagobah, and he fought Luke, and he beat him there. And I did, man. I back then I was watching these films more for the bright lights and the bells and the fucking whistles. Then after I got older and I saw them again, I was like, you know what, man? There's actually something to all this shit. It's like, there's fucking meaning here. There's inspiration, motivation. Of course, man. It's you take any film that you fucking seen as a kid and you rewatch again and you find shit, you know?
No, definitely. I mean, look, Crystal Skulls, the worst Indiana Jones movie out of all of them, right? I watched it, months ago, and sat down, open mind. I only second time watching. I saw the first time, I didn't like it. I enjoyed it. There was only one scene I thought that was just took me out of the movie and it sucked.
The
And that
monkey
was
scene.
what the monkey scene when he's swinging like Tarzan on the vines. I
Stupidity.
said, if you took that scene out, re-edited it, and took it out, the film's good, and it feels more like an Indiana Jones film. That one fucking scene where he's swinging with the freaking the chimps or the apes or whatever the fuck they were, just destroyed the whole fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. So, Doc, what about you?
Ape Lives Matters.
What about you?
I think what Filoni said at the end of the episode, even as an adult, when I saw episode 1, like I didn't see that portion that he's talking about, how Qui-Gon's relationship and what he needed to do and what he wanted to do and how things went south right then and there. The second Maul put that saber through his chest. So you could blame Maul for the fact that Vader came to existence, because I think we should do a whole episode on what if Qui-Gon actually lived and what would have happened, because it's very interesting speculation on that, because it really opens up a whole can of worms for the whole Star Wars universe as to what happens, and you can go a lot of different ways from it. But I think hearing what he had to say about that, and then because we looked at Obi-Wan as the sage even when he was a Padawan, because we recognized him to be this master and the sage and the smartest person we ever knew in the Force at any point for those first 3 movies, right? I mean, that was him. So
Right.
even when you
Him
see
and
him
Yoda.
even when you see him as a Padawan, you have this certain like mystique and an aura about him that you think that he's going to do the right thing by Anakin and be able to take over this training of this boy who's supposed to be the chosen one. And he failed at it, and he did not do it. He didn't see it coming. And I think that is one of the bigger swerves in the prequel trilogy that I didn't really appreciate until just 4 hours ago, hearing Filoni talk about it.
Very cool. Well, that's the one thing about Star Wars that will always be consistent. It will always continue to grow as we get older, as we mature, as we get wiser in our older years. Even you, Doc.
Me.
It will every time we watch it, we find something new with it, or we see it from a different point of view, and yet we still love it. And that's what it's all about. You talk about mythology and the Greeks. This is our modern day mythology. 100 years from now, when people are talking about Mount Olympus still, or Zeus, it'd be not as much as people talking about fucking Alderaan blowing up and Sidious and Vader and Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia, because we're living in modern age mythology, and the only difference is it's not written down on books; it's presented to us on screen. You know what I mean?
Agreed, 100%.
So, All right, boys. You guys want to throw any more 2 cents at these ham and eggers, or you guys want to take it home?
Let's take it
I'm
home,
good,
baby.
brother. Yeah.
All right, let them know where they can find you at.
You can find me at Dr. Dr_Destroyo, DESTROYO, Instagram, Alex Arroyo MD on Twitter, and Alex Arroyo on Facebook.
Spiro_A on Instagram, Handsome Reaper on Twitter.
You could find me at Greek God Papadon on Twitter, Greek God Papadon on Instagram, Demetrius Papadon on Facebook, Pro Wrestling Tees / Greek God Papadon is my Pro Wrestling Tee store where you get your GGP t-shirts. And you can go to YouTube. My wrestling channel is Greek God Papadon. Now, you can find us three together on Tuesday, recording the main show, the New Force Order podcast, episode 62. We're going to do Who's More Over segment, that show. And I believe we decided it's the battle of sound effects this week.
Yes, sir.
So
the lightsaber hum and ignition versus the TIE fighter screech.
Yeah, and what it basically came down to, the idea for this battle came from a fan, but it was a little tweaked, only because we didn't really understand the noise that this individual was talking about. And when I tried looking it back up, it just didn't make any sense. So I'm looking up the guy's name. His name is Michael Vorjik. He said, why don't you do the lightsaber hum versus the sound of the dark force, the dark side force users when they use the force, the purring sound or humming sound in the background, the rumble. And I couldn't really. I went back and watched a couple of films, a couple scenes, and I couldn't really hear anything. So I just felt it was a little skewed. But yeah, man. So it's the TIE Fighter screech versus the lightsaber hum. You guys can send your answers to newforceorder@yahoo.com. We appreciate your time and your ears and your eyes. You guys are witnessing this on our YouTube page, New Force Order. Do us a favor. Drop a comment. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You can find us at NFO_podcast on Twitter, New Force Order on Instagram, official New Force Order on Facebook. NewForceOrder.com is the website. You can buy merch on there. And NewForceOrder@yahoo.com is the email address. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us on this latest edition of MandoMania, because it's running wild all over your face, neck, and chest. And this has been brought to you by the New Force Order.
For life.
And that's just too sweet. Boba Fett confirmed for season 2 of Mandalorian.
Gotta get your shit in. We couldn't save it for Tuesday, you fucking mark.